Let's start by giving all praises to the Most High, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which in the ancient Hebrew is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS, who taught us this truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers, risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the elect, who would be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, according to scripture and prophecy. The elect would be 1/3 of the Israelites, who in the last days will return back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai for salvation, while the 2/3 of Israel who don't turn back to the Most High in time be destroyed with America. And that's all according to prophecy. We back with another lesson through the mercy of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. And this lesson is going to be titled, The Mark of the Beast System Will Be on the Hundreds of Inhabited Islands. Again, the Mark of the Beast System will be on the hundreds of inhabited islands. And we got a couple videos, a couple pictures that we're going to look at, and some scriptures. So pretty much this Mark of the Beast system, which the Mark of the Beast is the RFID microchip. That's what's going to plug you or link you to this cashless digital society, which would be your digital ID, digital wallet, digital key, a tracking device, all of that. But it's going to be a worldwide system, because I was telling the lady this before, that the Mark of the Beast system is coming, and people get it twisted that this Mark of the Beast is only limited to America. Or they get it twisted thinking that the Mark of the Beast system is limited, to so-called white countries, America, Europe, maybe even China, Russia. And the lady said she's going to go back to Africa. Well, guess what? The Mark of the Beast system is going to be in Africa too. It ain't even no island you can go to. That's why I titled it, The Mark of the Beast System is going to be on the hundreds of inhabited islands. There's hundreds of islands that exist that we don't even know about. And we're going to look into some of that tonight. But guess what? Each one of them islands where its people at, the Mark of the Beast system going to be there. Because when we done found out, the U.S., they about to experiment in the group of islands called the Marshall Islands with the UBI. That's a universal basic income. That's going to be the form of income that you receive from the RFID microchip, which is going to be a CBDC, central bank digital currency. So you can't go to Australia, you can't go to Antarctica, you can't go to Hawaii, the Philippines, or some island that we never heard of. Because guess what? The Mark of the Beast system, this digital system, gonna be there too. Now, this is an old video from Trump, I believe from his first presidency, but listen to what he says.
Number 8.
In the title, we will finally complete the entry-exit visa tracking system. In other words, this Mark of the Beast system, this cashless digital system. And what's them completing the biometric entry-exit tracking system? Well, this completion is when you get the RFID microchip. The Mark of the Beast system is ready. The hardware is ready. The infrastructure is in place. They got the software, the hardware. Only thing missing is they got a microchip, everybody. So check this out.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately.
And Trump said this on his first presidency. And now he's back to what? To finally finish the job. So that's why we think he's the president that's going to introduce America to this Mark of the Beast system. He's going to be the one to implement it.
For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Did you hear that? He said it's going to be on the land. He said it's going to be on the sea. He said it's going to be in the air. But let's go back.
We will have a proper. It will be on sea. It will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
And what does that system look like? This is a very, very, very simplified, brief overview. You got the center of it, which is a 5G, 6G, 7G internet. You got a link to the cloud via the satellites. You got a supercomputer that's processing everything. You got blockchain data storage. This is all your data centers that's being built around America. But this is the tracking system over here. What do you say? It's going to be on the land. That's your houses, arenas, the cars. That's why there's an emphasis on smart vehicles. That's why there's an emphasis on smart homes. That's why there's an emphasis on smart cities. He says it's going to be on the land. He says it's going to be on the sea. And what do you see? Ships, boats. I got to throw this out there. When he said it's going to be in the sea, that includes them islands that we've never heard of. He said it's going to be in the air. So that includes airplanes, helicopters, skyscrapers. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a satellite right here. So this is that entry, exit, visa tracking system. They're going to give it all these different names, but it's the mark of the beast system. And what's going to link you to these 5G towers, these cell phone internet towers, the satellite? What's going to link you to the grid? It's the RFID microchip. But let me play this again, and then we're going to get a precept to go with what he just said.
That this system is in place, and I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9.
It's going to be on the sea, the land, the air, pretty much the whole world. And we're going to go into that. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. So this is the 1/3 elect who's going to endure unto the end to receive salvation. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. So everything that's going on is going to come down to this final hour. And this hour goes into a time period. There's a time period that everybody's going to be tempted. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the whole world, to try them that dwell on the earth. See? So when it says it's going to come upon the whole world, that includes Africa, that includes Australia, that includes Antarctica, that includes the hundreds of islands that we don't even know about. It said we shall come upon the whole world. And we're going to show that it means the inhabited world. Anywhere that humans, people inhabit, the mark of the beast system is going to be there. And what it say? To try or to tempt them that dwell upon the earth. So if your address, your home address is on the earth, the mark of the beast system going to be there too. No matter how remote your island is, no matter how far away you are from society, it says to try them that dwell upon the earth. If you're on the earth, you're going to be tempted with this mark of the beast system. And what's that temptation? The final move. When they mandate the push for the RFID microchip. This is the hour of temptation. It all comes down to this. For many Israelites, this is going to be the deciding factor for those who receive salvation and be destroyed, but really it's already written. So again, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall try them, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Now, let's look up this word world. And we went into this yesterday, but we're gonna go into it again. What the hell, bro? Hold on. So world G3625. So it's gonna come upon them that dwell upon the world. The hour of temptation. Look at this, the inhabited earth. The whole inhabited earth. The world. So when it says it's gonna come upon all the world, anywhere that there's people. Anywhere there's people, this cashless digital system, tracking system is going to be there. Nobody is going to escape this cashless digital system except for the elect, because they're going to receive salvation. They're going to be taken off the earth so the Lord can destroy this place and destroy this system. So now we got that this visa entry tracking system is going to be everywhere. We're going to get it again, then we're going to jump to this next video.
Administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Land, sea, air, again, to try or to tempt or to test them that dwell upon the earth. If you're on the earth, no matter where you at, we're gonna have to deal with this. Nobody's escaping it. It's not gonna miss anybody. So now that we got that, we gonna get this next video and check out the title. Universal Basic Income Rollout in the Marshall Islands. How many of you ever heard of the Marshall Islands? I haven't, but I looked it up and I was amazed at what I found. So we're gonna show that after the video. You know what's coming next, the mark of the beast. So check this out. So yeah, so anybody that thought they was gonna run to some island, you're not escaping the system. When the Lord said it's gonna come upon the whole world to try them that dwell upon the earth, that wasn't a mistake. The Lord didn't make a miscalculation. He meant that.
Marshall Islands has launched the first on-chain universal basic income.
The Marshall Islands, they launched the first universal basic income, which is receiving a CBDC, central bank digital currency. So over there in them islands you never heard of, that you thought was remote islands, deserted, you didn't know these islands existed, they experiment with the universal basic income. Pretty much the cashless digital system already. So they further along than we thought. It really looks like it's coming to America last.
Program. What?
Hold on.
Marshall Islands has launched the first on-chain universal basic income program. What? And they're using Stellar. It's a universal basic income, and they're using Stellar, distributing USDM1 bonds backed by U.S. Treasury notes and 1.2 million residents, replacing traditional cash payments.
You heard that? Replacing traditional cash payments to 1.2 million residents. So it's millions of people on hundreds of different islands we never heard of. We never heard of him, but best believe Esau over there, because he in everybody business but his own.
Been playing, I wonder how much money they're saving by moving over to blockchain. That's not the question that most people are going to have. I have that question because that's what that looks like. Yes, UBI is a big, topic. Universal basic income, meaning that there are no jobs. Right? So people need to eat, they need to live. We're not talking luxury, we're just talking bare minimum necessities. So by now you've probably heard that Stellar, one of the more prominent crypto networks out there, is being used as the rails for a new UBI that's being tested, or Universal Basic Income, for the Marshall Islands. Now this in and of itself is really interesting to me, that we are testing a UBI of any kind, and that this is the very first nation where this is actually being tested. So I dove into it, and what I found about the Marshall Islands kind of blew my mind beyond just this whole UBI situation. Because one thing they didn't teach me in the textbooks when I was a kid is that back in the day, when we were doing our nuclear testing back in the 60s and that era, one of the places that we tested our nukes was the Marshall Islands. And now we're not just talking small nukes or small tests, we're talking nukes that at sometimes were 1.8 times the size of the nuke that was dropped on Hiroshima. And what's crazy is residents actually felt the effects of these things, even though the Marshall Islands are essentially a group of 1,200 islands all around the Pacific. If you look at it on Apple Maps, you won't even see land until you zoom in, but they're essentially
1,200 islands that make up the Marshall Islands.
All these islands spread out, yet some of them were chosen for nuclear drop sites, and not just one or two, we're talking like 60. And there's some debate in the community as to whether or not the nukes that they were testing were just to see information about the explosion itself, or whether they were actually testing to see the effects on the people locally. Because even still to this day, there are people who remember or have experiences or still have effects from nukes that were dropped back in the day. And I'm talking like there was mass cases of baby deformities when they were born. One person in particular that I saw a video about talked about how they had leg and arm pain for years and years and years and years.
So places you don't even know exist. Esau, the white man who's the devil, is over there being wicked. Places you ain't even know exist. He over there being the devil.
So this is not just like some random thing, right, where one or two people got affected. No, it was a large group of people within the vicinity. So later on, of course, in time, the U.S. realized that this was a bad idea, and they started paying reparations to the Marshall Islands. On top of giving them their independence, they were a U.S. territory. Well, now it seems that some of that reparation money is now going to be used to create this universal basic income. So what's going to happen is residents are going to receive $200 a quarter every single quarter from here forward. It was instituted just a number of days ago, and that will go directly into each resident's pocketbook. I believe there's about 80,000 residents, give or take, in the nation. So do with this information what you will. I just thought the whole situation is crazy. I highly recommend diving more into it because...
So yeah, the UBI, Universal Basic Income, they're going to start with that in the form of reparations. They get $200 every 3 months, which is nothing, which is pretty much a different form of a stimulus check. Universal, meaning it's for everybody. Basic, meaning everybody's on the same level, same base pay of income. But we got that. So let's actually look up these islands, because the market of beast system is there too. So let's start here. Marshall Islands, country in the Central Pacific Ocean. It consists of some of the easternmost islands of Micronesia. The Marshalls are composed of more than 1,200 islands and islets and 2 parallel chains of coral atolls. An atoll, if I'm saying it correctly, is pretty much, it's like half the island is above water, half the island is underwater. So it's a lot of coral reef surrounding it. But again, the Marshall Islands is composed of more than 1,200 islands, and people live on these islands. The Ratak or sunrise to the east, and the Raylik or sunset to the west. The chains lie about 125 miles apart and extend some 800 miles northwest to southeast. So the Marshall Islands composed of over 1,200 islands. Never heard of it, but people live there. Got a few pictures of it. So these are a bunch of chains of islands, and we're talking this damn thing. Hold on. And we're talking about the Marshall Islands, which is right here, this highlighted section. And you see it's a bunch of little specks, which doesn't really do it any justice. Because again, it's made up of 1,200 islands. And people are on those islands. Not all of them, but people live here. Never heard of it. So that's that. I might got one more picture, sort of like a zoomed in version. Map of the Marshall Islands. All these different islands. Maybe these are the inhabited ones. But the Mark of the Beast system will be there. Whichever one of these islands got people, the cashless digital system will be there. Now, let me see. And I got a few more maps. I'm looking for the word. Anyways, we're going to continue. So the word atoll, which is pretty much half the island is underwater, half of it is above water. There's 4 different atoll nations. The Marshall Islands, which is the first one, we just looked at it. Now, this is another one. It's called the Kiribati. And when we look here, matter of fact, let me read it. The Kiribati, island country in the Central Pacific Ocean. The 33 islands of Kiribati, of which only 20 are inhabited. So 33 islands, but 20 of those islands, people live there. The Mark of the Beast system gonna be there. That's why it says, it says the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. That means the inhabited world. Anywhere that's inhabited by people, they gonna have to deal with this hour of temptation. That moment, or rather, they gonna take the RFID microchip or not. They gonna have to deal with it. It says to try them that dwell upon the earth. That includes the Kiribati Islands. The Kiribati extends 1,800 miles eastward from the 16 Gilbert Islands, where the population is concentrated, to the Line Islands, which of 3 are inhabited, so another group of islands. But again, of the 33 Kiribati Islands, 20 are inhabited. The cashless digital system will be there. Now, when we look at this on the map, we looked at the Marshall Islands over here. And we're talking about the Kiribati, if it lets me move it. Another chain of islands. 33, 20 of them are inhabited. The Mark of the Beast system gonna be there. Because what did Trump say? It's gonna be on the land, it's gonna be on the sea, it's gonna be in the water. Matter of fact, let's just hear him say it again.
Sure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9.
Yeah, that's why they testing the UBI, Universal Basic Income, in the Marshall Islands. And here's a more detailed show of it. The Gilbert Islands, the Phoenix Islands, and the Line Islands, which makes up the Kiribati nations. But people live there. Little as it is, you don't even see it on the map unless you zoom in. But the Mark of the Beast system gonna be there too. The hour of temptation which shall come upon the whole world. Now we're gonna look at 2 more of these nations. We're gonna look at this one right here. the Maldives. I know I'm not saying that correct, but let's read about this one. Maldives, independent island country in the north central Indian Ocean. It consists of a chain of about 1,200 small coral islands, and that coral island is an atoll. And sandbanks, some 200 which are inhabited. So the 1,200 islands of the Maldives, out of 1,200, 200 are inhabited. And on those 200 islands that barely register on the map, the Mark of the Beast system is going to be there. So we see India, Sri Lanka, the Indian Ocean. This is a smaller view of it. 1,200 islands. 1,200 islands. This does it no justice. 200 of them are inhabited. Mark of the Beast system going to be there. Because again, it's gonna come upon all the world. And we looked at that word world, it said inhabited world. That's like Trump said, it's gonna be sand, it's gonna be in the land, the sea, the water. A more detailed overview of the Maldives Islands. Maybe these are the inhabited ones where people live. If it is, they got to deal with the hour of temptation. Nobody's safe. Oh, I guess this is a more detailed, god damn it, version of it. Yeah, I guess these are for sure some of the inhabited ones. We see airports. That entry exit visa tracking system gonna be there too. Now the last one. We got, what is it called? The Tuvalu Islands. We're gonna look at this one. Tuvalu, country in the west central Pacific Ocean, it is composed of 9 small coral islands scattered in a chain lying, over there in the ocean. Tuvalu formed the British Gilbert and Ellice Islands colony before separately gaining its independence in 1978. So people live here too. So these islands, we looked at the Marshall Islands over here. We looked at the Kiribati Islands over here. We also looked, well, I don't see the other one, but we're looking at this one right here now. The Tuvalu. Hey, well, whichever one of them islands got people, the Mark of the Beast system gonna be there too. All right, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep them from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. This includes the islands. And you saw the one, it said of the 1,200 islands, 200 are inhabited. So there's no telling how these people live in. And while we here, I gotta make mention of this. You see the Solomon Islands, people live there too. They did a study and they said the happiest people in the world lives here in the Solomon Islands. Well, guess what? The happiest place in the world, they're gonna have to deal with this Mark of the Beast system too. So there's gonna be nowhere to run, nowhere to go from this cashless digital system. Then as we continue, Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That mark in the right hand, that's the RFID microchip. The mark in the forehead would be these different brain chips. For one example, Neuralink by Elon Musk. When you go to that word cause, it means to mandate. He's going to enforce it. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. So unless you get this mark of the beast system, you're not going to have access to the CBDC. You're not going to have access to the digital currency, because the world is transitioning into this cashless digital system. Traditional money is going to be no more. Unless you get this RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, you won't be able to function or participate or make use of this system, which again will be worldwide. But that's why I say he causeth all, both small, great, rich, and poor. He causeth all, the whole world, the whole inhabited world, meaning all people. Rather they in a country or they on an island that you never heard of, he's going to cause everybody to get this mark that's not part of the elect. So yeah, we wanted to show that the universal basic income is being rolled out in the Marshall Islands. So it's really no telling how far they are with this. And then when we get the book of Job 16 and 12, I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces and set me up for his mark. What's you being at ease right now? You can do as you please. You know what I'm saying? But how is he setting you up for the mark? By breaking you asunder, taking you by the neck, shaking you to pieces. Pretty much you having all kind of financial troubles and struggles, unemployment, going homeless, a famine, struggling to survive here in America. That's what it means to be broken asunder or taken by the neck and shaken to pieces. He's doing that to set you up for the mark, because the system is ready to go. All you got to do is find a way to implement it, introduce it to the people. They're going to do it in stages. They're going to play with the universal basic income here, and there. They're going to implement the various digital IDs here, and there. They're going to have people struggling, ready to do anything to go back to normal. So yeah, he's setting the people up for the mark right now. And we know the penalty for getting it, you be in a lake of fire, which is the nuclear destruction. Lord willing, that was informative, edifying. Until next time, Shalom.